Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Brother, you have to understand why you think the things that you do and why you act the way that you do. And you have to understand the complexity of why sometimes you make good decisions for yourself and sometimes you self-sabotage and make terrible decisions for yourself. Now, this applies no matter what level you're at. Whether you're broke, whether you're making 10, 30K a month, 100K a month. But first off, if you're broke, stop watching this. I'm so sick and tired of people who, like, young men, even if you're 18 years old, if you cannot financially support yourself, get off YouTube. Stop watching my videos. I say that with all due love. Stop watching my videos. When I was literally had negative $100 in my bank account, when I was like, oh, a few $100s is insanely expensive, when I could barely even take my girlfriend out on a date, when I was watching YouTube, I was wasting my time. Listen to podcasts while you work. Stop sitting down and watching YouTube videos when you're not even making a few $1,000s a month. You are physically wasting your time. The mindset shift should take place after you've actually put in a slight amount of reps to where you actually can, like, validate yourself enough as a man to not be a broke bitch. And I say that with love. You have to fucking change right now. Okay, now that those people are taken care of, I'm talking to the more elite level guys who actually are competent enough to support themselves. If you don't understand why you self-sabotage, the unconscious, you'll continue to do it over and over and over and over again. It's like to know and not to act is to not truly know, right? I always say that, I don't agree with the statement of knowledge is power, because if knowledge isn't acted upon, it's not power at all. It's just knowledge. And, it's just a thought that you maybe can conceptualize, but you don't truly understand it. As a slight example, and I gave this example to my elite community members in one of our group calls, and some of you guys might resonate with this. When I was really, really little, my mom used to make me do, something like wash the dishes or something like that. Like, I didn't have chores. We just did shit around the house. It was just expected. But if I would argue with her, like a idiot little kid, and I'd be like, no, like, she would be like, you need to wash the dishes. I'd be like, why do I need to wash the dishes? I'd be like, and she'd be like, because you need to learn how when you're out on your own. That's what she would give me. And to my small brain, I was like, no, well, that doesn't fucking make sense. I know how to wash the dishes. You grab the sponge and use soap and hot water and you scrub the dishes. The fact was, I hadn't overcome the mental block of making myself be like, ugh, like nasty food all over the plates and shit, and do that. And thinking back, like, I'm disgusted to that I used to think, oh, I know how to do something, so I don't need to put in the reps. Putting in the reps is learning how to do something. Just because you can understand how doesn't mean you actually know, right? So you have to understand every single solitary thing to fully use it as power, to fully use it to your advantage. If you watch a YouTube video step by step of how to make $1 billion, you might be able to conceptualize those steps, but you can't say, oh, I know how to become a billionaire, because if you have not done it, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You might say, I understand how to get my macros in check, how to eat in a caloric deficit, how to eat more protein and make myself go to the gym 6 days a week. But if you're a fat fuck, you're out of shape, and you don't go to the gym and you're not consistent, you don't know how. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten on with guys who I've now transformed their life, but when they came to me, they were like, oh, no, yeah, like, I understand the food perfectly. And I'm like, then why do you have tits? Why do you have tits? Well, I just, I struggle with, like, then you don't understand. You don't understand. In my head, I understand how I could make $1 million a month, right? But my character has not become that man. I am a 20K a month character because that is what I'm at, and I haven't exceeded far beyond that consistently. So it's ignorant for me to sit here and act like I understand how to do these things. When you play at this level, like a lot of you guys watching this, when you play at a higher level, it's not about setting higher goals. It's about setting the standard for yourself higher and becoming the character who can achieve that goal. So stop setting frameworks of how to reach a goal and set frameworks of how can I become the man that can do this, right? When I first started all of this, and I sat down and I looked at myself in the mirror with tears running down my face and just like utter pain, and I felt that absolute rock bottom experience. And I looked at myself and I finally let all the truths come to the surface. All the truths about how lazy I was truly being. And I stopped hiding the fact that, I was not living up to my potential, and I was straight up a fucking pussy. I literally looked at myself in the eyes and I was honest. All the things that caused me pain, all my insecurities, everything that I'd shoved down underneath me, I finally let them come to the surface and I was honest with myself. That was my full rock bottom moment. And I decided, okay, I'm going to finally change my life. So I sat down and I let go of my phone. I let go of all distractions, and I sat down for, it probably was like 4 hours where I didn't look up from that page. And I just conceptualized all my goals, all the things I thought I needed to let go of, and all the things I thought I needed to gain, and the ideal version of me that I wanted to achieve, that I knew could live the lifestyle I wanted to live, have the impact on people that I wanted to live. And now my brain was still a little foggy from all the drugs I was doing, and how terribly I was living, the shitty food I was eating, the lack of sleep, all of these things. But I still knew and had that deep resonation and feeling of, what I truly felt like I could accomplish, even though it horrified me, because I knew the pain that I would have to go through, the stress I would have to apply on myself to reach that. I knew that it was possible with enough effort. But I had to understand the unconscious. What takes place in my mind in the morning when I say, hey, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and then 4 a.m. rolls around and I skip my alarm. Back then, what was taking place in my head, because I was conscious of the fact that it felt like shit and it always changed, but something was unconsciously happening when I was in that bed that made me snooze my alarm. Okay? What happens when I get home from the gym and I've just built myself up with a good habit, and then I would get out of my car, throw my gym bag on the ground with sweaty clothes in it, not get straight on my meal, and I would lay down on the ground and I would just scroll on TikTok. And then 2.5 hours has passed and I realized, holy shit, I had schoolwork the next day. I hadn't unpacked my gym bag. I hadn't eaten my post-workout meal. I hadn't taken care of any of my responsibilities. That was the life that I was living in day after day after day after day after day. And you can sit there and be like, well, it's fucking easy. Just get home and don't instantly go into TikTok and start by instantly unpacking your bag and doing these things. But when we've developed these mental habits, it's very, very difficult. And, the me back then, it didn't understand, subconscious patterns that I just habitualized. So I had to start by fixing my habits so I could become conscious of the unconscious. I had to sit and think, well, why do I not wake up early? Why do I always break my diet and find myself fucking drinking soda and eating from the Chinese restaurant down the road and going to Zaxby's like a little fat ass? Like, what is wrong with me that causes me to do this? And it started with my vices, right? The porn, self-sabotage. I feel good about myself and I come home, release all that energy, and I feel like shit about myself again, because I'm giving my energy to something that is extremely destructive. And that breaks down your confidence, that breaks down your ego, that breaks down your confidence in your own ability, not just your confidence in your security of self, everything. And then, I'm smoking weed. That breaks down your drive. That breaks down your ambition. It makes you feel good in the moment, makes you feel very good. And you have all of these, these copes, Oh, it makes me more creative. It makes me feel better about myself. All these things. Well, fuck yeah. Of course it makes you feel better about yourself. You're just stuck in comfort. If you can't feel good about yourself sober, if you can't be creative sober, if you can't get shit done sober, of course you're going to turn to the fucking weed. Of course you're going to turn to the alcohol. Of course you're going to turn to the pills because you're a bitch and you can't live with yourself in that normal state. Everyone at the top level, they operate sober-minded all the time. Because you cannot reach 110% of your potential if you're not sober. And I could operate well. I went to the gym and I, worked out really hard, harder than most people, while I was high. I smoked before every single workout, I could go to work high and do a good job, be nice to the customers, all these things. But what was that compared to my potential that I could have been? I was just okay with getting by. There was no thought within my head of how much can I do every single day. It was just like, what can I do every single day that is enough, right? It's just that threshold of just enough. Like, what's just enough to get me to the next day? What's just enough to get me to the next day? But I wasn't even conscious of that. As I said in the beginning, I needed to turn the unconscious conscious so I could understand my shortcomings. I had to understand my shortcomings to be able to set my new standard. Because otherwise you're like, no, I'm up here, until you actually self-analyze and you realize, holy fuck, I'm actually down here. A lot of people are living in so much pain and they don't understand why, because no one takes a fucking hour of no distractions, sitting in their room, no phone, no music, no communication, nothing, sitting there in your mind with your thoughts. That's what it takes. Ask yourself, bro, when is the last time you just sat with your thoughts? You got in your car, no music, no podcasts, no person to talk to, nothing, and you just analyzed. I do it all the time, and I'll just drive and I'll realize all of these fucking robots around us, they're just system. Get to the light, stop, scroll on my phone, go when the light turns green, listen to music, change the song when I don't like it, stop and get some fast food as soon as I feel the slightest urge of hungry. And the problem with our society is people don't even understand when they're hungry or when they just want a hit of dopamine. Most people just eat and they're not even hungry. They're just so bored in their own life with no problems to solve that their brain's like, what's the fastest way for me to feel a spike of artificial dopamine? Eat highly processed and palatable foods. Let me pull in the McDonald's when they're not even fucking hungry. Analyze yourself. Think about it. If you are in the moment and you cannot eat just a normal, chicken breast, if that doesn't sound appetizing to you, hate to break it to you, you're not fucking hungry. You just want something to satiate yourself. You have to build self-control. You have to build self-control. And if you're following me, you understand I jump through these topics and it always tends to flow through mindset, habits, nutrition, and training. I come and I sit down here in these talks. It's like 6:30 right now, right? I've been up since 4:25. You guys know I wake up every single fucking day at 4:25. If you're new and you don't believe me, go on my Instagram. You don't even have to follow me. Go on my Instagram, because the self-doubt within you is like, there's no way he wakes up at 4:25 because it makes you feel like a bitch. Go on my Instagram, check my stories. Every single day you will see I wake up and I post my morning push-ups and it's like 4 something, and then I post stories every single after that. I don't skip on the weekends. I don't skip on holidays. I don't skip on vacations. It doesn't fucking matter. If I go to bed at 1 a.m., I'm waking up at 4:25. And any of you guys who comment in the comments and you're like, oh, that's not optimal. No shit, it's not optimal. I'm not trying to optimize. I'm trying to make myself better. It's so easy. You guys want to overcomplicate everything. I get so many DMs. It's like, bro, it's just, how do I go to bed late and then still wake up early? Just go to bed early the next day. If you get 4 hours of sleep one night, boo-hoo. Sure, you're not going to be optimized during the day, but you have way more focus, way more drive than you even understand. You just cut yourself short. I shoot to be in bed by 9 p.m., but it doesn't always happen. It does not always happen. And when you don't set non-negotiables, when you give yourself options, you are subconsciously, like I said, you have to make the conscious, you have to make the unconscious conscious. You're subconsciously, in your unconscious, you are telling yourself, my word does not matter. So when you're like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. from now on, right? But then your schedule changes because you were undisciplined during the day. And you find yourself and it's 11 p.m. and you still have shit that you have to get done. And you're like, oh, well, okay, I'm up till 11 and I won't get 8 hours of sleep if I wake up at 4 a.m. So I'll just get back to it the next night, right? And then you procrastinate. And then you just broke your promise to yourself. Now every single thing that you say, I'm going to go 110% in the gym. You don't fucking do it. Because you don't do anything. Why would your brain listen to you when it knows, we just throw words out there and they don't fucking mean anything? Why? Ask yourself. I'm going to go on this diet. I'm going to get shredded for summer. You're still fucking fat. Come on. You're still skinny. You haven't put on any weight. You still look like a fucking twig. Girls at school still look at you and they're like, bro, what the fuck? This dude skips leg day. Maybe girls at your work say, maybe women at your work say that. Maybe they don't say it to your face because they're like, oh, we might hurt his feelings because you're such a bitch. Be honest with yourself, bro. These are called aggression talks because I'm speaking to my younger self. I'm speaking to my younger self. People come in these comments and I hate to even like address them, but I think it's funny. It honestly makes me feel sorrowful for like how much of their time they're wasting. Imagine going on another man's post and like commenting something negative, telling the world openly like, oh, this guy just made me upset. The fuck's wrong with you, bro? Come on. You guys have so much more potential, and the reason I get on here angry as shit is because I see potential. And maybe that's just me just seeing false potential, but I see so much potential in all of you guys. But yet I'm still getting hundreds of DMs a day talking about like, I just don't know what to do. Can you just give me a piece of advice isn't going to wake up for you. A piece of advice isn't going to eat the food for you. A piece of advice isn't going to lift the weight for you. It's not going to discipline you. My advice might get your gears turning a little bit, but it's not going to take the step. It sucks. You keep looking for someone to tell you some magic phrase that all of a sudden unlocks the golden pathway in your brain that makes it easy, and it's not gonna fucking happen because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Stop looking for it to be easy. If you're struggling to wake up early, stop envisioning in your head how, motivation arc David Goggins it's gonna feel waking up at 4, because it doesn't fucking feel like that. Start envisioning and fantasizing about how hard it's going to be, and practice in your mind how difficult it's going to feel waking up at 4 when you only have had 5 hours of sleep and it's freezing cold outside and your bed feels warm and comfy and you are hungry and you feel weak and your mind feels weak, and yet you wake up anyways, yet still you rise. That's what you need to fantasize about. Stop fantasizing about the gym and how you're going to feel like Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler in there, because you're not. You're not. And then when you go in there and your experience doesn't meet the threshold of your fantasy, that's why you're not able to put in the work that you need to give to level up. That is why. Start fantasizing about, I'm a bitch, I am weak, therefore I need to work harder. And when you go in there and you feel like shit and you're squatting with shitty form and you can barely bench 225 and you're like, fuck, what is wrong with me? It will actually give you the drive to sit there, study your form. Study the connection of your mind to your muscle, how much time under tension you're squeezing that muscle, and get better. Study the feeling of when your brain craves processed food, artificial flavors, and sweeteners, and instead saying, no, I will make the good choice. I'm going to eat some grass-fed ground beef, and I'm going to have some pineapple, and I'm going to have a little bit of rice, and I'm going to be in a calorie deficit, and I'm going to drink water. And eventually you'll fall in love with how good it feels to deny yourself. That is real discipline. When you make the unconscious conscious, and you can actually think through these decisions. When you stop at the stoplight and you look around and you see everyone just bots, just fucking scrolling on their phone, and you put your phone down and you just look around, you analyze. You'll start to fall in love with the fact that you're breaking out of the system, because once you know the side that is truth, it's very hard to go back. And if you do go back once you've actually understood the truth, you're going to hate yourself for the rest of your life. Some people might say ignorance is bliss. I don't fucking agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. You really want to not know and just walk around just like a dumbass, just a sheep, just, oh, nothing matters, nothing matters. Walk right off of a fucking cliff? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather be a lion, hunt my food every single fucking day, struggle, fight, wake up early, get woken up in the middle of the night, have to just get absolutely slashed and slaughtered every single fucking day, see no progress, no result from my effort, yet wake up the next day because I get to be free from my actions. That's what I'd rather do, brother. I'm not sure about you, but that's what I would rather do. It takes a resilient mind to accomplish anything. Stop working on making yourself feeling better and start working on making yourself do. Too many people get caught up because when they do something uncomfortable that's good for them, they're like, oh, that didn't feel good, so it's probably not the thing I should be doing. Stop that. Stop. You understand how backwards that is, right? We as humans, we love what we're comfortable with. We love our comfort zone. So no matter what you do, the first time you do it, it's probably going to feel awful. But that's your God. That is your God. When I do something and there's lots of resistance and it doesn't feel good, I've trained myself to be like, oh, this is fucking great. Because with enough reps, this will feel good. And I'll be able to do it. And it'll create a threshold between me and my competition. I like to do the things that are harder, because then there's a fire that protects me from my competition, and I know they have to go through the fire, and most likely they're not going to be able to do or have what it takes to do what I did, because I didn't cut corners. I didn't make it easy on myself. I took the fucking hard path. I put my head down. I grit my teeth. And I ran headfirst into the flames. That's what you have to do every single day. Brother, stop trying to make it easy. And just do it regardless of how it feels. Regardless. And it's easy to talk about. And it feels good to listen to this. But I'm not one of these influencers who's trying to just give you a little boost of motivation so that you come back. It's fucking hard. Don't think about it. Don't romanticize doing the hard things, because when you get there, it doesn't feel good. Romanticize the difficult feeling. Romanticize the demons. Because that's the only way to break free from them. It's to face them head on. One step towards danger completely dissipates anxiety. completely dissipates fear. Here's a very, very subpar example, but it works. And if you do this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're about to get in the cold plunge, or if you're about to get in the cold shower, the moments before, when you're feeling your brain be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, why am I going to do this? Because to me, cold water at 4 a.m. sucks. Terrible. And I've been doing it for 2 years and I haven't missed, but it still sucks. But as soon as you take that step into the shower, or as soon as you take that step into the cold plunge, all the fear instantly goes away because it's just straight action. It's like that with anything. If you're thinking about talking to that woman, every single second that you procrastinate is a second that you're losing the battle. You have to take action as soon as you have the thought. Beautiful woman. She looks mature. Boom. Instantly talk to her as soon as you see that. Don't even go up to her with some type of motive. Just get comfortable walking up to her, asking her what her name is, asking her where she's from, asking her what she likes to do. Don't be a fucking weirdo. Hey, can I have your Snapchat? Girls don't fucking like that, bro. If you're gonna do, I mean, you can ask for her number eventually, but you speak to her. Let her know that you're fucking competent. Stop viewing yourself and thinking the world views you the way that you do. If you want to change the way you feel in those awkward interactions, the reason they're awkward is because you're like, oh, this woman's looking at me the way I look at myself. You look at yourself that way because you're a bitch. It's not because of the way that you look, and the way that you carry yourself stems from your internal confidence. Your internal confidence does not come from the genetics you've been blessed with or your physique. It comes from the habits you instill within yourself, the practices that you have. Do you give in to temptation every time it arises? If you do, okay. You have no fucking willpower. She can sense that. Business owners can sense that. If you're interviewing for a high-paying job, or if you're going to strike a business deal, soon as I shake somebody's hand, I can fucking tell. I can tell everything I need to know about a man from his aura, the way that he walks, and the way that his hand feels when I shake his hand. Everything that I need to know. I don't even have to speak to him. If you come up to me and you're like kind of like looking around, you shake my hand like a fucking dead fish and you can't look me in the eyes, something's wrong with you. Can't tell you how many grown ass men, double my age, bitches. I go and their hand literally fucking flops in my hand. They're like, oh, nice to meet you. Not even looking me in the fucking eyes. What's wrong with this generation? It's a sad fucking thing. But it's because of a lack of self-confidence, because a lack of action. A lack of action. They think that I'm viewing them the way that they view themselves. Humans judge a book by their cover, but it's not all based on looks. Like, yeah, if you come up to me and you have fucking green hair and you walk like a little, not even gonna say that word because my YouTube channel's still new and I'm not trying to get demonetized, but you guys know what I was fucking about to say. But if you act like that, I can tell it's not overly because of the way you dress. It's the way you carry yourself. You know, the aura that comes before you, right? You have to make the unconscious conscious. You have to be conscious of the way that you hold yourself. You have to be conscious of every single thought that comes into your head. Take it captive if you want to get to the next level. Surround yourself with killers. Invest in yourself. Master your mindset, habits, nutrition, and training, because everything stems from it. The way that you think and your mental frameworks will always be the cornerstone. The habits that stem from those mental frameworks, going to the gym, eating healthy, making yourself do hard things. Well, I was just flicking y'all off for a second. I apologize. Making yourself do hard things. Eating healthy food. I think I just said that. Going to the gym, waking up early. Your habits, your mindset, your habits. What's next? Like I said, the nutrition, because nutrition is the easiest way. It's very difficult, but it's the easiest way to continually increase your frequency, continually increase your ambition and your sense of drive. We don't just get energy from food, we get energy from the pursuit of dopamine. That's why our ancestors could fucking go on an 8-hour hunt with no food in their system and still have energy, because that pursuit of the animal is what gave them energy. The pursuit of the business, the pursuit of that woman, the pursuit of that new endeavor and that new venture that's meaningful gives you energy. You don't need to stuff your fucking face and make yourself feel complacent like you've completed your goal. Mindset, habits, nutrition, training. Training is not just in the gym. Training your skills, training your communication skills, training your thinking patterns. Yes, training every single solitary day in the gym is mandatory for a man. And I'm not, for all of you weirdos that text me and they're like, you don't need to train. I go to the gym every single day to train my body in some way, shape, or form. I'm not weight training every single solitary day. I understand the principles of recovery and muscle growth. Thank you. But you need to train your mind every single day. That's why I start with the cold shower and the 425 wake up and the 50 push-ups. The 50 push-ups are not because it's like making me ripped. That's not what they're from. The 50 push-ups are because the last thing I want to do in the morning at 4 a.m. is walk my ass outside and do 50 push-ups. It's just not fun. It's just annoying. But it starts my day and I'm training mentally. Put yourself in hard positions. Mindset, habits, nutrition, and training. Every single thing stems from that. That's why I call it the 4 pillars of man. If your 4 pillars in place, your manlyhood is complete. You are a full, well-rounded man, but you have to work on it every single day. It's not something that you just get to and you're like, voila. But they compound. You get better and better and better the better you get. It's like that. That's what I teach in my school community. I've got like over 10 hours of modules, and every single one of us is leveling up. When I bring on elite one-on-one clients, that is the first thing we go over. We set their 5-4-5 method in place, and then we establish the 4 pillars of man. That's why I'm able to get such fucking good results, because it's irrefutable if you put in the work. It's irrefutable if you put in the work. I'm not one of these V-shred weirdos and being like, oh, well, the reason you haven't lost weight is because you're doing cardio and you're eating salad instead of pizza. Pizza, fucking, dude, the internet is so, I don't even consume shit anymore. I just like to create for you guys. I like to create for my younger self because I wish I had these videos to watch so I could understand from somebody I looked up to. I had to get on here this morning and spit some knowledge. Now, my content is about to absolutely level up. If you guys have watched this far, I want you to know I'm going to keep the raw aggression talks like this, but I'm going to start producing actual high quality content. I wanted to get a bunch of quantity out there at first, but there's a bunch of like studies, case studies, a bunch of things that I want to test for you guys. Things like, you know, is nicotine actually a nootropic? Things like that. And if you've watched this far and those are things that you want to see, like, you know, me testing different like methods in the gym, me testing different methods with food, me testing different, you know, mindset type of things, comment in the comments. Like, I literally read every single one of the comments. You guys don't, it's actually hilarious. When I read hate comments, I'll literally like, I'm cracking up like all day long because I'm like, oh my God, look at this idiot motherfucker. Like, look at this idiot. It's so funny. But all you guys that comment positive comments, I read it and I appreciate you guys. I love you guys actually, because I have so much respect that you can sit here like I used to be able to, and somebody would fucking tell me what I needed to hear, and I'd be like, you know what, he's fucking right. Because that is the very first step to changing your life. And I appreciate you guys for sitting there and being able to take your life account, being able to take yourself and hold yourself accountable and get better. That's it for today. I love y'all boys. Stay aggressive.